Hello and welcome to Sweet Shot Games Dota 2 Beginner's Guide. Now, I probably should have went over this in the last one, but since I forgot, I'm going to do it in this one for you. That is, I should have gone over the UI with you guys. So, here it is. So when you first get into a game, you'll notice that you have a skill point. Over here is your points. When you level up, you'll get a skill point, and you can click on that and put it into any of these abilities. These are your abilities down here, and they have 4 points that you can put into them, and that will allow you to use them once you have it. You can't use them until you put a point into it. So every time you level up, you'll get another one. This is your XP down here. You can get more XP by killing creeps and people in the game. And as you kill those, you'll get more XP. Once it fills up, you'll get another level that you can put into any of your abilities. You can also put a point into your stats. And when you put points in your stats, it'll give you 2 for each one. And the stats will typically, you don't want to put those into your stats until you're about 15 is when you put your first point, and then after 16 you'll put the rest into stat points. And you typically don't want to put those early into stat points unless you're playing a specific hero. Now every hero has 3 different stats. However, depending on your type of hero, you might have more or less in certain stat areas. You have strength, agility, and intelligence. And then if you hover over, you'll see that strength gives you HP and HP regeneration. And then agility, if you hover over that, you'll see that it gives you armor and attack speed. And then if you hover over intelligence, you'll see that it gives you mana and mana regeneration. Now also, depending on your type of hero, for instance, Lich is an intelligence hero, when you get more points into your intelligence, that'll also give you more points into your attack damage. So if you're an agility hero, put more points into your agility in order to gain more points, more attack damage if you're an agility hero. So as you can see here, I have 46 base damage on Lich. If you hover over this, you'll see some other attributes such as the attack damage, your movement speed, and some other things, your armor and physical damage resistance and magical damage resistance. I think every hero starts with a base magic resistance of 25%, and then your physical damage resistance is just based on how much armor you have. So then above all this is the HP and mana bar, and that'll just show you how much hit points you have before you end up dead, and then also how much mana you have in order to use certain abilities. So in the bottom left corner then is your minimap, and basically this will show you everything that you're able to see on the map, and it's really good to keep a close eye on that at all times. That's why I recommend as a beginner starting off as a support hero, because it's very important as a support to keep an eye on the map for the rest of your team, and especially for your carry, who can easily get tunnel vision trying to last hit creeps that are in your lane. So then also in the lane we have turrets or towers, and these are considered tier 1 towers in the very outer edge of the lane, and you'll have 2 in each lane, the mid, the top, and the bottom lane, and the outer one is the tier 1 tower, and it's the same on both sides. Okay, so then inside of the base, this is considered your base here. You got 3 more towers, which are considered the tier 3 towers. This is your ancient, you want to protect that, and this is your inner base with the fountain, and when you're inside of range about here, you'll be able to heal up inside of here. There's also a shop inside of here where you're able to buy some items, and if your opponents come in too close, the fountain will begin to attack them actually. And then so here are the tier 3 towers. And then protecting your ancient are the tier 4 towers, and those have to be destroyed before you can destroy the ancient. And then these tier 3 towers need to be destroyed before the barracks can be destroyed. And there's a melee and a range, and if you destroy the tower, you can then destroy those. And if you destroy the melee barrack, it will give a buff to your opponents, giving their melee creeps in the lane more power for that particular lane, and for the range creep, it'll give a buff to the range creep. Okay, so then back to your hero, you have item slots over here on the right. Each hero will have 6 item slots where you can purchase items and put them into these slots and carry them in order to get their abilities or their stats and whatever. And then further to the right, we have a few other things here. The courier, which will tell you whether or not you have one and where it is and what it's doing. This is your gold. It'll tell you how much gold you have and whether or not you have money for a buyback. If you die in the game, you'll have a respawn timer before you become alive again. If you want to avoid that, you can just buy back into the game by giving up some of your gold, and so that'll tell you whether or not you can do that. And then we have the shop button. If you press that, it'll open up the shop. If you're inside of your base, you can purchase pretty much anything here. You might have to go to some other shops to get certain things. I'll go over that in a little bit. This is the quick buy. You can set it up so that you can buy an item really quickly, so you don't have to go back into the shop to do that. And then here we have the KDA, the kills, death, and assists, and then also the last hits and denies. So that'll tally up as you accumulate each of those. So a last hit is when you kill a neutral creep or a laning creep and get the gold for that. And then a deny is when you kill one of your own laning creeps to deny the gold from your opponents. And then finally over here we have the fortify button, which when activated will give your towers immunity for, I think it's 6 seconds. And when you activate it and your opponents are attacking it, it will make them completely immune for that duration, and they won't be able to do any more damage to it. It has a 5-minute cooldown, so it is a rather long cooldown, so you have to be careful when you use it, and use it when you think it's the most important, and you'll kind of figure this out over time and with some more experience, and when people yell at you for using it at the wrong time. So just get some more experience and maybe just wait before you use it, and find out from your teammates if you're playing with any when you think you should use it. So then if we go to the top left, you'll see here this is the exit button. That'll bring you back to the main menu, so if you need to change any options or settings, you can do that here. And then the next button over is the chat log. This is where you can chat to your teammates or to your opponents. You can also view some of the past or previous actions that have been taken. And next is the scoreboard. This will show you what everybody's score is, as well as their levels. And then if you were to click on the name of someone, there are some other actions that you could take in there, such as ignoring them or muting them if you wanted to. And then the next one is the combat log. The combat log I don't think is working properly or correctly yet. For me, there's nothing ever that shows up in there. So I don't know if it's working yet, or maybe it's just me. So then the unit control allows you to give control of your units or your hero to certain heroes, or all of them if you want. If you just click on that, and it'll put a check in there allowing you to give control over to your teammates. And then finally the shared content is allows you to share your announcers and some other things that you might have with your teammates, or allow them to share it with you. And then also on the top here we have the different heroes that are in the game currently. It'll show you whether or not they're alive or dead, or even how much time they have left. And also next to that is the uh, amount of kills that you and your team have accumulated, as well as your opponents. Right now there's 0, of course, because nobody's been killed. So that'll tally up as you get more kills or as you die. It'll give it to your opponents then. And then also we have the timer, which will count down towards the beginning of the game. And then once the game begins, then it'll count upwards and just keep track of the time for you. As well as if you hover over, it'll show you the time of day within the game. There is day and night cycle. So right now it's 7 a.m. So that's daytime. That means you'll have daytime vision. You'll be able to see further inside the game. And then when it's nighttime, it'll reduce your vision and make it harder for you to see, at least in a certain distance. And then around the 6 minute mark, close to the 6 minute mark, is when the first nighttime cycle will begin. And then it'll just rotate between day and night depending on the time of day within the game client. So as you can see here, we have vision here on this point, and the tower will give you vision all the way up to there. And then this is the fog of war. This is where you will not be able to see any opponents that are inside the fog of war on the map. So also in Dota 2 there is high and low vision depending on whether or not you're on a hill or going up a hill. So if you're going up, you're going to have less vision, and you're not going to have vision of what's on top of the hill unless there's something else giving you vision on there. However, the higher up you are, typically the more vision you'll have. So then this half of your map is considered the radiant half. So if you're on the radiant side, this is typically the safe area to be in. However, once your towers begin to fall, then it will be less safe for you. So you want to try to keep as much map control as you can, and also keep wards up for your team. And when you destroy your opponent's towers, that allow you to control their side of the map more as well. So then here we have the jungle. This area is considered your jungle, and there will be certain camps, what we call, that will spawn neutral creeps that you can kill. So one of the camps will spawn here, and these neutral creep camps spawn every minute on the dot. So you need to make sure you're out of their vision in order them to spawn again. If you're too close to the camp, they won't respawn. And then this is the easy creep camp. That's called the easy camp because the creeps that spawn there are easier to kill than the other camps. So here's another one and another, and then this is the other neutral camp that you can actually pull into the laning creeps. So over here we have another neutral creep camp that spawns. However, these are called the ancients, and these are very strong, and they will give you a lot more gold and XP for killing them because they are so much stronger than the other creep camps. And they are so strong, in fact, that you are probably going to have to wait a little while longer before you're actually able to kill them off, and maybe even get some help from a friend. And then here is the Roshan Pit. This is where the biggest, baddest neutral creep of them all will spawn, and he is very difficult to kill. He has a ton of HP and damage, and can even stun, and has a Lincoln Sphere type of effect as well. And so he is going to take a lot more resources to kill, probably your whole team, unless you're a specific hero that can kill him rather easily. However, other than that, you might have to wait till mid to late game to try to take him out. and when he dies, he'll give you a nice amount of golden XP. And then over here, we have the secret shop, kind of hidden away from the lanes. That will give you certain items. At the shop inside the base, you can purchase pretty much any item there. However, there are some items that you can only get at the secret shop, and these are more expensive usually, and will build into some of the bigger items into the game. So you'll have to walk over there or send your courier over there to get that for you. And then on either side of the map here, we have the side shop. That's because it's on the side of the lane, and this is just a convenience for you. When you're in lane, you can go to this shop, and there are some more items over here that you can purchase. It's not going to have every item again, but this will give you some of the core items that you probably need in your lane. And then when you click on the shop, it should come up with the suggested items, and these are a pretty good general guideline as to what you should purchase. You have the starting items, the early game items, the core items, and the situational items, and it's typically a pretty good guideline to point you in the right direction when you're playing a hero. However, once you get some more experience and check out some more guides and whatnot, you'll see that there are some other items that you can get or build to optimize your gameplay. Okay, so then if you're new to the game, I recommend playing a support, and I highly recommend Lich as a support because he's very easy to play and he can sacrifice units, which you can see in my other video. And you're going to want to take the safe lane, the bottom lane, which is considered the safe lane on the Radiant side, and the top lane is considered safe lane on the Dire side, and you're going to want to go with your carry on your team. And the reason you want the safe lane is because the tower is so far out into that lane that the creep wave that comes out to your lane will stop right about here, and that'll allow you and your carry to stay in range of the creep wave and be safe and still get some farm. Now for the other team, they're going to be out a little bit further away from their tower in this lane, and this will make it safer for you because you'll be closer to your tower and be able to run away if your opponents try killing you. And they won't be able to gank as easy either because they can't really get behind you without tower diving. So this just overall makes it a lot easier and safer for you to be able to farm your lane. And so it's very important that you win this lane. And so as you can see here, your opponents have a long ways to go before they get back to their tower. So it makes it a lot easier for you and your team to be able to gank them and maybe even pick up a kill. If your teammates come in through the jungle, they won't be able to see them unless they have a ward down, and they can get behind them and get a kill before they are able to run back to their tower. So again, it's very important that you win this lane, and if your opponents send 2 people to that lane, then you might have to have your jungler come out every once in a while to gank and help you out, or you might even have to do a tri-lane yourself in order to ensure that your carry gets the farm that he needs, because that's the most important part of the game. And then if they happen to do a tri-lane as well, then you might need some more help from your mid lane and have him come over and gank quite often in order to ensure that your carry gets the farm that he needs. Alright, well that'll do it for this one. Be sure to check out some of my other videos and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at SweetShotGames. Thanks for watching.